I think one time I was at work and I had looked up, how much a Lamborghini is. A lot of kids dream cars like a Lambo or something similar.
What happens after high school?
It was summer. So I was like, let me look up some like side hustles I can do. I probably called every barbershop in DFW, one after another one, because I wanted to save up more money to start that business.
How do you find locations now?
So my biggest tip to everyone is to figure out like what they're good at. I can have like an entire script memorized in my head, but the second I walk through a door and talk to somebody face to face, it goes out the window.
Welcome to the Latin Wealth Podcast, a podcast dedicated to educating the Latino community about entrepreneurship, investing, and business.
Yo, what's going on, Latin Wealth family? Welcome to another episode to the Latin Wealth Podcast. And as you can see, we're back in the studio. Super excited about today's conversation because we got another guest on the podcast and we're speaking about another business model or another industry, I should say, that we've never spoken about before on this podcast. So you guys stay tuned. We're going to have a phenomenal conversation and a little bit about our guest today. He is an owner of a vending machine business that generates well over 6 figures a year. He's also a content creator, has over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, and he's been recently featured in the Wall Street Journal, Business Insider, the Dallas Morning News, and some other major publications. He's been doing his thing. Welcome, Jaime Ibanez. How you doing today, bro?
I'm good, man. Thanks for the invite. What's up, everyone? Hopefully everyone's having a great day. But yeah, thanks for the invite.
Yeah, man. Thank you for pulling up on the podcast. As we mentioned, you own a vending machine business.
Yes.
You represented with the Cheetos shirt.
Always.
I respect it.
Yeah. Everyone that watches my videos, you guys know half my wardrobe is like Coca-Cola shirts, hot Cheetos, all that stuff. Because it's mainly for the videos, to be honest. But it's cool to represent.
Yeah, 100%, man. I love it. Man, talk to us. So people that are watching, they're like, man, this dude looks super young. So how old are you, 23, 24?
So I just turned 24, and yeah, I've been running my vending machine business. Actually, we're heading on to my 6-year anniversary in the business. So we're not even at 6 years yet. But yeah, I started right after high school.
Okay. And when did you turn 24?
In April.
April what?
6.
Oh, I'm April 11.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't meet a lot of April people, so that's pretty cool.
It's funny because if you see the people in my family, like, bro, there's like 10 people in April. Like,
oh, really?
April 12. I think my grandma's actually April 6th, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, all right. So high school, you know what I'm saying? You're in high school and I'm assuming that you're thinking of a way to make money. Talk to us about your background and like you in high school wanting to start this business.
So, I think, to be honest, I was kind of meant for this, as like weird as that sounds, because I actually started off by just selling snacks in school. So, there's always that one kid that walks around selling chips in school, and I was that kid. At one point, I even like ended up hiring like 3 of my friends to sell chips for me, and I would pay them at the end of the week. Even like my first part-time job was at a concession stand at a soccer field complex, and I was the one driving like a golf cart around the entire field, selling drinks and chips to like the players and parents. So this is like literally all I know is selling chips, candy, and drinks.
And so where's your family from?
So my family is from Zacatecas, Mexico. I actually just got back from there in December. That's where I proposed to my fiance now.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's where we're from.
Okay. And growing up, was there any entrepreneurs in your family?
Yeah, kind of. So like half my family is in business. So my grandma, she owns a few stores down there in Mexico. My aunt has a few dentistries, so she's a dentist. So yeah, pretty much like half her family has like some sort of business that they do.
Okay.
And a lot of people ask me like about my inspiration or like maybe where does the entrepreneurship comes from? And I'll probably say my grandma. My grandma's like one of the hardest workers that I know. Right now she works because she wants to, not because she has to. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
So you said she owns a couple stores in Mexico. What type of stores does she own?
It's like what we call them, like the tienditas. Okay. So it's like those like, small corner stores and same thing, sells chips, drinks, fruit, stuff like that.
All right. So you in high school. And so you're in high school and you're feeling like, okay, I want to make some money. Was that the thing? Or you feeling, was somebody kind of like, you should try selling some stuff? Like, what was it that like kind of that switch for you?
I would say like the entrepreneur in me opened up around like sophomore year, because before, I never even thought about starting a business. I actually planned on going to college for like a software engineer or get into like, something in computer science, because I love computers and I like that whole side of it. But I think one time I was at work and I had looked up, how much a Lamborghini is. A lot of kids dream cars like a Lambo or something similar. I saw the price and I was like, okay. Then I Googled what jobs can afford a Lamborghini. And of course, you get like the highest paying jobs, like doctors, maybe some lawyers. And then you go into like, how long does it take to become, one of those people? And I was like, okay, what's the next best thing? You get into the side of like starting a business, because there's no limit on how much you can start. So I feel like, that's, some people probably go through that same rabbit hole, but it's just that rabbit hole of like, how much do I have to make to have this and that? But yeah, then I just kind of decided I was going to start a business.
Right. No, that's dope, man. I love it. So you're in high school, you got 3 people that are running around selling candy for you. You paying them, you the boss. What happens after high school? Do you go to college? Do you continue that? Or like what happens?
Yeah, so after high school, at that time, I knew I was going to want to start a business eventually. But even after I graduated, I had no idea what that was going to be. So the plan A was going to actually go into real estate school after that. I was literally like a week before I got into the whole vending thing, I was going to literally apply for the real estate license and try that route out. But, doing research, it was summer. So I was like, let me look up some like side hustles I can do, because I wanted to save up more money to start that business. I actually graduated with like $5,000. That was just from selling chips in school.
Wow.
So I wanted to save up a little bit more. I looked into like side hustles, and one of them was the vending industry. So that's kind of how I came upon the industry and like vending machines. Because back then, I used to think it was just like Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Dr. Pepper that owned those machines. Once I found out that anybody could buy them, I was like, you know what? All I have to do is buy a machine, fill it up with Coke, come back 2 weeks later and collect this much money. So that's kind of what really intrigued me about it.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but did you start off with like bubblegum machines or something like that, or that piqued your interest at one point, or you almost went down that route?
I almost went down that route, and I know a lot of vendors start off with that route also because it's a lot cheaper. At one point, I did even buy one of those little gumball machines, but I never actually got a chance to place it. It might just be me, but I think it's harder finding a location for those tiny machines than like a big soda machine.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I don't know what the profit margin on a gumball machine, but you have to own like 1,000 of those to get you a Lamborghini. So okay, so you got you got $5,000 saved up. You want to save a little bit more. You're interested in the vending machine business. Talk to us about the first machine that you bought. Where did you place it? What happened? Tell us that story.
So the first ever machine that started it all was actually inside of a like medical building, and I actually bought the machine on location already. So that's something that you can do, right? It saves you all the work from having to go out, find the location yourself. But when you first start any business, you don't know everything about it. So what I didn't know is to verify with the business itself that they still want the machine. So I literally went in there like pretty much blindfolded, because I went inside, I saw the machine, I gave the seller the cash for it, he gave me the keys, and we called it a day. I didn't talk to anybody at the location, like, hey, I'm going to be the new guy coming in or anything like that. So literally, I bought it for like $4,500. Next day, I get a call from the manager. He's like, hey, we don't want the machine here no more. You got like 5 days to come and take the machine out. And so that was literally how the first machine came about.
So what did you do? You're like, man, how do you even take this thing out? Like,
yeah. So I mean, at that point, you just have 2 options. You literally either do the same thing the last guy did and sell the problem to somebody else, which I'm glad I didn't do that. Or option 2 is find another location before the 5 days are up, and that's what I did. So, I had 5 days to kind of sit in my room for hours and hours, cold call businesses, until I hit up a barbershop that luckily they were running the vending machine themselves. But, the owners, people that run the machines themselves don't really take care of it as much because, they're busy running the business. Right. So he was like, yeah, we have this machine here, but it's always empty. We don't really pay attention to it. So, yeah, you can bring your machine in. And that will save us a lot of work. Yeah.
So when you were sitting in your room you have less than 5 days, how many people were you cold calling to find a new location? Wasn't it like over 50?
Yeah, it was a lot, like 50, maybe even 100, to be honest. It took like 2 days, and I probably called every barbershop in DFW, to be honest, like one after another one.
So what was your pitch? What was your script?
To be completely honest, I don't remember like what I was even saying at that point, but I didn't even know what to say either. Right. It was really just like, hey, my name is Jaime. Just started this vending machine business. Trying to see if you guys have a machine already, and if you guys don't, we have one ready to go. Something along those lines. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the hardest part, is kind of figuring out what to tell them. Right. But I'm glad I didn't give up, because if not,
man, I was gonna say, because I don't want to skip over that. I know I was reading somewhere that it was 50 to 60, but you just said it could have been like 100. You were just probably calling.
Yeah.
And, you really, you can tell you had that mindset where, it's not, I'm not quitting. It's just, I got to find the right one.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see people out there that after the 10th one, they're like, I'm throwing it in
even
the towel.
before 10.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And I know that because like just from like a few people that I have like, teach one-on-one in the past, like there's people that like, just go and hit up 2, maybe 3 spots and that's it.
That's it.
And then it's because a misconception about vending is people think it's easy. And, no business is easy.
No business.
It doesn't matter if it's like cleaning windows or like something that seems like so simple and easy. No business is easy to grow. And that's what some people still don't understand, because they see vending, they're like, oh, I'll put it, just like me, I'll put this machine on location, fill it up with some chips and come back every couple weeks. But no, it's not like extremely hard, it's not rocket science, but no business is easy.
Yeah, 100%. No, I like that, because look, you can, like you said, you can apply that to any business, and have that same mindset that, no, it's not rocket science. It's not the hardest thing to do, but it does take effort. It does take time, patience. So you have a conversation with that barbershop, you get it in there. Once you set it up, plug it in, how did you feel after? Like, were you kind of relief? Were you confident? Like, how were you feeling after you got that first W?
Yeah, it was a little bit of everything. I was excited. I was motivated. Like, all right, time for the machine number 2. And the reason for that is because, one, I was so glad that I was able to find a new location, because I didn't have like a garage at home or anywhere to store it. So it was literally my only option to find another place. So I did. I was good. Second, that location did really, really well. It was bringing in like maybe $1,200 a month.
Wow.
So, going from like, I spent $4,500 on the machine. I ended up losing the location, but I was still able to find somewhere else that makes a lot of money. And, I made my money back in like half a year, pretty much.
Yeah. The reason why I wanted to bring that up is because most people, like, they don't understand how powerful just getting that one win is. It's like, I play basketball. It's like when you're missing a bunch of shots, sometimes all you need to do is just see one go in, and you get that confidence, you get that groove, and you're ready for the next one. So I like that, in that moment, you're like, okay, let's go. Let's get the next one.
Yeah, and that's why it's important, first off, obviously, to not give up in whatever you are doing, but because once you do get that first location, that's just going to light that fire under you. And it still does to this point, even like with the number of machines that I have, every location that I get, I just get like that like satisfaction to me. Like sometimes I crave it, to be honest, to get another location because it just feels so good.
That feeling, that's what's up. All right, so let's fast forward a little bit to where you're at nowadays. How many machines do you have now?
So I'm a little bit over 50 machines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and we're gonna get into like vending machine 101, the business model. But what are you at a point right now where you're trying to scale more and more? Are you cool where you're at? Like, 50 is a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure, it's, we'll get into how many people are on your team and whatnot, but how are you feeling right now with 50 machines?
So first off, I'm extremely grateful to where I'm at right now. I feel like high school me or like, machine number 1 me would be like extremely proud of where I'm at right now. So I'm always thankful for everything that I have. But, of course, with any business also, the sky's the limit on how big you can get. And I did, mention this to you a little bit earlier, but I've met bigger vendors that have 500, 1,000, even 10,000 vending machines, scattered throughout multiple states. Now, do I want to get to that point? Probably not. I don't even know if I would make it to that point because they were like generations of doing vending. But I still plan to be the number one vending company in DFW. Like right now, I say that I am. I might not be the biggest, but I always say, I'm number one. So yeah, I definitely want to take over DFW and, have a huge warehouse. I even plan on hopefully, hiring like my family. So I want it to be like, a big family-owned business that we're all just together and like servicing.
Yeah, that's what's up,
the Metroplex.
Man. I love it. I love the attitude. You want to take over Dallas.
Yeah.
DFW. You want to take it over. I love that. So talk to me, grandma back in Mexico, how's she feeling? Like she sees her grandson doing something similar, selling different products. How's she feeling? How was that conversation with her?
I think, I haven't had like a really deep conversation about everything with her, because she stays over there. So it's only a few times that I see her throughout the year. But, just from the times that I've talked to her, like, she's proud because it's kind of like, kind of similar to what she does. We kind of are able to talk about like the deliveries, because she also has Frito-Lay and Coca-Cola deliver the stuff to her. I do as well too. So, we have like that little bit of, same thing that we can always talk about. Yeah, connection.
That's what's up, man. I love that. Okay, cool. So let's break it down, man. What does a day in a life look like for you with someone that has 50 vending machines? You said you have kind of like a warehouse.
Yeah.
How many people do you have in your team?
So right now it's technically 3 of us in total. Okay. So it's going to be me, my fiance, and then I actually just hired my brother part-time. Because, even with 50 machines, it might sound like a lot, but depending on like how good the locations are, it might not take a whole lot to run them. So even with 50 machines, we're still pretty much working like 3.5 days out of the week. I told you earlier, we're off Fridays. So we can probably still handle another 30, 40 machines before we have to hire another route driver. So, but day in the life, we work Monday through Thursday, wake up really early, 5 a.m. I'm a huge fan of coffee, so we start off the day with coffee. Fun fact, I want to open up a coffee shop one day. That's a conversation for later maybe. But yeah, make some coffee, head to the warehouse. We do what we call pre-kitting. So pre-kitting, you basically get all the products that you need for the machines. And we put them in a box and like crates. So we take exactly what we need. We track all of that through like software. Because fun fact, in the 80s, 70s, the way vending companies used to do it back then is they would fill up a huge box truck with a whole bunch of product, go into the location, go back to the truck, write down what they needed, and go back in.
So you have to like go back manually, look what you need, and then go back and forth.
That's how it was back then, yeah. But now, there's like softwares, there's apps that you can track everything.
So there's an app that can track everything that's inside the machine?
Yeah, I can pull up, my phone at any point, pick one of the 50 machines, see exactly what's sold out, how much money it's made today, the week, the month, year.
That's insane. Okay, so you're filling up these crates, right? And you have a specific route. What does that look like for you? Are you trying to knock it out early in the morning or like getting there before people get there? What does that look like?
So we start early because the earlier the better, because we service a lot of office buildings, which, close out usually 4 or 5 p.m. So the earlier the better. And yeah, that's pretty much the only reason why.
Okay, cool. And then you fill them up, come back to your facility. What do you do from there?
So at the end of the day, so another fun fact, my fiance, she's actually the route driver. So I basically work on the back end. I'm at the office, either talking to current customers, acquiring new locations, ordering products, basically everything else. So she goes out, she fills up the machines. She usually gets back around 3 p.m. We take out all the leftover product that she didn't end up using, or maybe stuff that went expired, throw it out. And then, I did mention pre-kitting, which we get the product ready, in the morning, but sometimes we might do it at the end of the day. That way, the next morning, she just goes out.
How do you track like what products are about to be expired? Can you do that in the app as well?
I'm pretty sure, but I think
most of that stuff lasts for years, right?
Yeah, the things that go the fastest are like some of the diet drinks and chips.
Maybe some of the pastries.
Oh yeah, and pastries. Those are like 30 days.
Okay, interesting.
But once you kind of get the hang of it, you kind of know like what pastries you should have at what location. Because it really they're all different. Mm-hmm. They're all different.
100%. Okay, dope. So for someone out there that is looking to start their vending machine business, they kind of hear your breakdown of the day. Where can people purchase these machines at? You talking about these ones that there's apps that go with them and whatnot. They seem like they're super updated. Where can people purchase machines at?
So that's kind of tough because,
it depends on people's situation, how much money they have and whatnot.
So yeah, number one would be the budget, because machines range literally from like $500 to $10,000. And yeah, a lot of that just goes into like the technology into them, but the whole software is just in the card reader alone. So you can have that, no matter what machine you get. But in terms of like where to buy machines, best place I always point people towards is, buy them used. Either Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, because you can at least see the machine in person before you buy it. Because yes, there's a lot of like really good online sources where you can buy machines brand new. But over the last couple of years, there's just been a ton of like scam websites out there. And I feel like so many people have been getting scammed from buying machines online. But, of course, I can throw out a few like online places, but best place would be finding me
Craigslist, go in person, check it out, make sure it works.
Yeah, because also you can find like really good deals on machines. Like the machines I mentioned that brand new are like 10,000. You can find them used for like 3K, 4K.
And so walk us through some different types of machines. I know you've mainly focused on like snacks, beverages, but if you go to the airport, I mean, they got everything in there. They got like Kylie Jenner, cosmetics. I know, I forgot the name of it, but it's Vital Farms or something like that.
Yeah, Vital Farms.
Yeah, and they have like salads in there, and it's good. Talk to us about your thoughts on that and what other type of machines are out there.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty cool. There's like other, like we call them like weird vending machines because they're not traditional. And we actually, so there's like a convention every single year. It's called NAMA, and that's wherever we go and kind of learn about all the new technology coming out. And that's where we go and look at, like popcorn vending machines, like you mentioned, sandwich, salad vending machines. But I think those types of machines won't do as good as traditional, because those types of machines, you can only put them in certain places. So, the salad place, it does good there because it's at the airport. If you were to put that machine in like an office, like it might do okay, but for the price of the machine and the price of those little cups and salads that you pay for individually, it's a lot cheaper to just buy a traditional like cold food vending machine that has coils and probably do the same thing for like half the price. Same thing with like, so what's trending right now is what's that candy called? Cotton candy. Okay. So if you go, especially here in DFW, if you go to, it doesn't matter what mall you go to, every mall here in DFW has a cotton candy vending machine. And, those have been like blowing up recently because they're everywhere. But second, like, I don't think people that place them really understood like the maintenance behind them. I actually did a video where I went to try one out, and as I went, the guy was actually at that location with the machine open and he was cleaning it. And I asked him like, what's the maintenance like? And he said that he has to clean it like 3 times a week. And it's just like, that's not really scalable compared to a traditional snack and drink.
Yeah, that's interesting. And, speaking about like different machines, I've been to Japan. Cool. And I'm sure that you've seen like they got vending machines everywhere out there, bro. Like if you need a drink late night, you just go to the vending machine downstairs. So it's very interesting to see like culturally the difference between other countries, how they think about vending machines opposed to us, right? You don't ever really see them outside like that. They're usually inside buildings out here in America.
Yeah, and my dream is to go to Japan to really be able to see that in person, because I think that's really cool. But I've always wondered that too. I've even talked to like my vending friends, and I'm like, do you guys think that would ever happen here in the US? And probably not, to be honest, just because
I can tell you why.
Why?
So I think just culturally, bro, like, so going out there is so much cleaner, and the people, they're a lot more respectful out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the crime rate, and I think all that goes into just having vending machines on the street, man. Like you can get you can get ramen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's gonna fly out here. So in my opinion, I think it's more of a cultural thing, but maybe what I'm saying, your people have a different perspective.
No, yeah, it's for sure the biggest reason, because I mean, I've had machines that I put outside and they've gotten broken into. And after that time, I was like, never again.
Never again.
So it's just like, we can't have nice things.
I heard that. Okay. I love it. So location. So at the beginning of the show, you were going crazy to get this one location. How do you find locations now, or how would you suggest somebody to find locations now? Something more effective, or do they need to start off with cold calling?
No, so my biggest tip to everyone is to figure out like what they're good at, because like there's a lot of things, a lot of ways you can find locations for vending. You can cold call, you can go door to door, you can run ads, you can build a website, but you have to figure out what you're good at and just be great at that. So yeah, in the beginning, I did mention I did cold call, and that's how I was able to find my first location. But I wasn't able to do it fast enough compared to what I'm good at, which I'm good at emailing, I'm good at running ads, building websites, being on the back end. I can have like an entire script memorized in my head, but the second I walk through a door and talk to somebody face to face, it goes out the window.
I mean, the whole thing with scripts, man, it's like I don't know. There's
no such thing as a script also.
Yeah. And it's like, you just never know. Like, how can you have a script for somebody that you've never spoken to? Like, it may go completely different from the script. And then what you going to do, freeze up? Hold on, that's not in the script.
Yeah, no, it's good you mentioned that, because the number of like DMs that I get and people asking me like, hey, like, can you send me like your script for like emails, or like, can you send me like, or like, what do you say to people? And it's just like, you just walk in there and you literally just
have a conversation.
Yeah, have a conversation with them. And that's where like people that are good at talking to people already have the upper hand in vending, because they're naturally good at it compared to the people that, have to build that skill. Like me, unfortunately, I wasn't really able to perfect that skill to talking to people face to face, but at least I'm good at what I'm good at.
For sure. But you mentioned running ads. So what, you like Facebook ads and all that?
Yeah, so everywhere, Facebook, could be Google. Okay. I guess it just depends, where you have your information up, whether it's a website or a Facebook page.
Okay, cool. I just thought of something. I want to, so when you mentioned, I guess we'll go into it after. Let's talk about your facility that you have, right? So the products, I know for me, I know what's popular is going to like Costco or like a business Costco and just buying in bulk. Is that what you do? What do you do, and what would you recommend like somebody that's starting out? What would you recommend for them to do?
So right now we still go to Sam's Club a lot. Over there in Fort Worth, we just have a lot more Sam's Clubs than we do Costco's. So yeah, I mean, right off the bat, Sam's Club is always going to be the cheapest option. Even it doesn't matter if you have one machine or 10,000 machines. And for example, like right now, I buy all of my product from like 6 different places. But it's because all of them either have different products or different prices. So Sam's Club, I still get a lot of my sodas from, because even if I still order from Coca-Cola directly, but the Cokes from them directly are like, to be honest, way more than Sam's Club.
Really?
Now they are 20 ounce. Sam's Club has a 16 ounce. So that is one reason why. But yeah, there's a lot of products that you can just find way cheaper in Sam's.
Interesting. Okay. So Sam's Club, how often are you in there? I know you mentioned in one of the videos, like you hate, like you want to go there at least as much as possible.
Yeah. I hate going into the store. There's times where like we go every single day, and the only reason why is because we stock up on most products, right? But there's still like some small items that like we really need, and that's why we have to go to Sam's. So like if we run out of like Snickers, for example, that's something that we need for the machines because it's a chocolate that sells really well. So it's always, and that's the annoying part. Like, we got to go to Sam's Club literally for like honey buns or like 1 or 2 things. So because of that, we try to stock up on literally everything, but we just sell so many products that like, 1, it takes up a lot of space. And 2, it makes it easier to just have everything.
For sure. And so how do you know what products to sell? Because I mean, there's so many different, I think they have like a convention every year where they show off new candies and whatnot is coming out. So how do you know, Do you just go with like the staples, the M&Ms, the regular stuff? How do you know what to put in there? And are you ever experimenting to see like which one is better?
So we have like a basic template of like whenever we acquire a new location, we're going to for sure put these 10 items in there. And that's just because those are 10 items that sell very well in every location, doesn't matter what it is. For example, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper sells more than water here in Texas.
I think it just, wasn't it just like became the number one soda brand or like the most consumed soda? I think Dr. Pepper was.
I think over like Pepsi or something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So we have like that basic template. But after that, we use like the first couple of weeks to like see, okay, what's selling, what's not. And all of that, again, makes it so much easier because of the software. We can really see all that. So we just make minor changes as the weeks pass by.
Okay. I like that. So let's dive into how you guys are making money from these vending machines, right? Are you guys determining the price? And if you are, how do you know what the price thing's at?
Yeah, we come up with the prices, and that's another hard part that we've struggled with the last couple years because,
inflation,
and it's just some products have even doubled. So, it's up to us to kind of go into the machines and raise the prices. And we even got a little bit of like pushback, during like the 2020 times.
From who?
Some locations,
okay.
When like the whole virus and everything was going
so they're
on.
saying like, oh, your stuff is too expensive or something?
At some locations, yeah.
Okay.
So because we would go in there, we would raise the prices. Months later, they go up again. So we have to go back, raise it another quarter. And that happened like 3 times. So yeah, it was a struggle, because it's something that we have to explain to them, like, hey, like, our cost is also going up. Everything's going up. Like, it's really nothing much we can do. But in terms of like how we decide on pricing, we do have like a percentage that we try to hit, which is at least, like a 50% net profit margin. So at least to double everything.
Mm-hmm. And so when you go into these locations, do they require like you to pay a flat rate to be in their commission? Or are they just like, they get the benefit of having a machine in their building?
All of them. Okay. So yeah, I guess it would depend on the location because some of them are like, hey, we want 10%, we want 20%. So it's like standard, for some locations to ask for a commission. Of course, the goal is to not pay for commission. So if we can like make it standard for like every vendor to not pay for commission, but that's better for every other vendor because, it won't be such a normal thing. So yeah, we try our best to not pay anything because at the same time we are providing the service. It's a free service. We're the ones spending $10,000-$12,000 per location for all the equipment and any repairs that have to be made. We're taking care of that. So it's more of like, we're bringing the convenience to you, which it kind of goes back to like the prices. Even now, like some people still kind of complain about prices, like, oh, like I can go to Walmart and get like a Snickers for like $1.50, and I'm like, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, be my
I don't
guest.
tell them that. I don't tell them that, but right. I mean, it's just
yeah, no, I feel that's what you're probably thinking. All right, so you mentioned the POS machines. Is that how you guys are making money? You guys still collecting cash? Right now I see a lot of vending machines. You can just use your card, but I'm sure a lot of people still use cash. How does that work? And if you do take cash, how often are you collecting or going around and picking it up?
So believe it or not, like 85% of our total revenue is cashless. All credit cards, Apple Pay.
Interesting.
But we barely get any cash. Yeah. Now we still, with the amount of machines, of course, we're still bringing in a good amount of cash. But in terms of like the percentage, it's a little bit compared to the credit cards. And I mean, it makes sense, less and less people are carrying cash every single year. Sure. So more people just have cards. And it's the crazy thing is that like we take over a lot of accounts from like other companies that either one, don't do a good job, or two, have outdated machines. So like a few accounts that we've taken over, it's because they're kicking out the vendor because they don't have card readers on their machines and people want to pay with cards.
Interesting. Do you, I'm sure you've studied the industry. Do you know when that transition was where more machines had card readers and whatnot and they kind of transitioned from cashless? to cashless?
Yeah, I think the huge, I don't know the exact year, but I think the huge jump was maybe like a decade ago, like 10 years ago. That's whenever like card readers were really starting to like be more common in machines.
Yeah, okay. I'm asking because I really don't be buying snacks from machines like that. So I'm curious. But
it's funny you say that because I've had a couple people tell me that like, oh, I don't remember when's the last time like I used a vending machine. Like I haven't even seen one around.
Yeah.
And it's just because, you know, most of them are like in workplaces.
100%. Are they're at schools, right?
Yeah, they're at schools. You know, fun fact about schools, like you have to bid on those contracts with vendors. So it's like a whole you know, it's kind of funny because like we have machines all over the place, right? But the amount of people that have told us like, hey, why don't you put machines at the airport? Or like, why don't you put machines like at a school?
It's not
like,
just easy to get in there.
Exactly. It's like a whole like bidding war that you have to go with like other vendors, basically who's going to have the cheapest prices, who's going to give them the highest commission, biggest variety of products. A lot that goes into it. Too much of a headache. You know, I'm fine with my office buildings or whatever.
Like you said, I mean, you've been saying it throughout the episode, which I love that you have this mindset. It's like you hone in on what you're good at and you double down on that. You know, I'm sure you guys maybe experiment here and there, but this is your bread and butter. You know how to do this.
Yeah, because, you know, vending is also like a lot more than just like traditional vending machines. But yeah, if you can just like, you know, find your industry and just be good at one thing and be the best at it, it's what's going to make you the best.
Yeah, 100%. Let me ask you about scaling, right? Scaling up this business model. How do you plan on doing that? Like bringing in more people, you know, you said you guys can probably handle 20, 30 more machines. How do you plan on scaling this thing to dominate DFW?
So scaling, you know, that's kind of what's holding me back is capital, believe it or not. So scaling a vending business can be extremely, extremely expensive because, you know, I did mention you can find a lot of cheap machines for like 500, 1,000, you know, 1,500, but when you get into like nicer, bigger locations, they expect like good looking machines. So, you know, every time we get a new location, we're spending minimum like 10K just for like, you know, a nice drink machine, a nice snack machine, the card readers, the product, coins that go into the change machine. So it really adds up. Same thing with like margins. You know, we don't have bad margins, but everything that goes into like the business vehicle, you know, gas, maintenance, payroll, we are on payroll. So it's just capital. And because of that, you know, we're still slowly growing. But basically where I'm going with that is that like I have like so many locations that I can place right now. I just don't have enough capital for all of them. So I have to turn down like locations because of that reason. So, you know, I'm looking into like probably getting like a business loan in the next few months because of that.
Have you thought about partnering with some of these other people that you mentioned that got 500, 1,000? How does that work?
So
is that just like working with your competition? What are your thoughts on that?
So it's basically, I think it's just people. So the big companies, the reason why they grow so fast is because they just acquire smaller vendors.
Just a bunch,
and they just have the money to do that. You know, whether it's because they find investors that help them do that, or maybe they just have the money. But that's how they grow so fast. You know, the biggest vending company in the U.S. they're called Canteen, and I actually spoke to one of the persons that works at their corporate office like a year ago at a vending convention. And I didn't even know that she worked at the corporate side of it. But I was like, hey, like, because everybody at the convention was a vendor. So we were just talking about the business. And I was like, oh, like, are you also a vendor? And she was like, no, I work at corporate Canteen. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I see you guys everywhere. You know, you guys are the competition because they're huge. And then she was like, you know, yeah, but, you know, don't worry because usually we'll just wait until smaller vendors get bigger and then we'll buy you guys out. Not exactly like that. But that's kind of how they grow. They buy out smaller companies.
Would you be open to that?
I say no right now, but you know, maybe if like they slid like if the price is right on the table.
Your fiance, like, you better take that. I love it. Okay. So while scaling your vending machine business, 50 locations, you and your fiance, you got somebody on part-time, you start creating content. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, the YouTube channel, your first video was like 5 years ago?
Yeah, like 5. So I started at the same time I did vending. And to be honest, that's how I was able to grow my vending business because of YouTube.
Wow.
So I was making, a good amount of money from YouTube. So all the money I got from it, I poured into machines. Otherwise, to be honest, I probably wouldn't be as big as I am now.
Okay. So talk about it. Talk about how YouTube helped you, and would you recommend YouTube for other business owners out there?
So, like you did mention, my first video did go viral. I think it hit like 1 million views in like the first 30 days. And
back to this up, bro. Your first video you put on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you weren't expecting it to viral, right?
No, it wasn't.
You just put it out, and to go viral on YouTube is hard.
Yeah.
It's not like TikTok where you can just dance and just, what I'm saying, like go crazy. You put it out on YouTube, it gets 1 million views in 30 days. You're probably, okay, so were you able to monetize after that?
Yeah, so it's a whole thing behind the YouTube thing too, because that wasn't my first channel. I've had like 5 other channels before that. I've been trying to make YouTube videos since I was like in middle school. So I've tried out like every genre before that too, and business was the one that worked. So the first video went viral. Since it was the first video, of course, with YouTube, you kind of have to wait for like the watch time, the number of subscribers, and then after that, you have to like wait for like, I even forgot how the whole process works, but I basically lost like a month, maybe 2 months of revenue because of the entire process, behind the scenes that was trying to get set up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably lost a lot of money from that 1 million viewed video. But after that first video, I literally posted consistently 2 videos a week for like 2 years straight.
Wow.
And yeah, that's kind of, again, how I was able to make enough revenue to pay for the machines, pay to move out of my parents' house. Now, if I would recommend YouTube for other entrepreneurs out there, it's tougher now today, because of TikTok also, of course. More people are watching short form content, but maybe even just short form content, that helps a lot of businesses still. But in terms of like full, like longer videos, it's probably a little bit tougher, to be honest. I feel like maybe I was at the right place at the right time, because there was nobody making vending machine videos. There were a couple that did, but some of them were either just making videos on like repairs, stuff like that.
So what type of videos were you producing, and what was working? I mean, I'm pretty sure you doing it twice a week. You kind of found a formula to what was working. So what type of videos were you making?
So the main types of videos that I was filming in the beginning were like vlogs. So like a day in the life. So I literally just picked up the camera, took people to Sam's Club with me, buy product, took them to like some locations, fill up the machines, and at the end of the video, show them how much I made. Now, of course, you can't really do that for every single video twice a week for 2 years. Right. So we were getting to the point where I'm like, okay, this is getting repetitive. So we, also experimented into like other fun videos. We flew out to like other states to film like weird vending machines. I made sit-down videos going more in depth about like the business, how much I was actually making, profiting. So I guess just really trying to find different, because YouTube is all about entertainment. If you can't entertain people for 10 minutes, it really hurts your channel. So that was the tough part, is making something entertaining enough. And she'll tell you, because like we'll film like a clip, and I can tell her like, yo, like, was that entertaining enough? If not, like, we'll redo it. Yeah,
you redo it.
Because it has to be perfect.
Yeah, 100%. Wow. 2 years. Okay. So, or 2 videos, you said, for 2 years straight?
No, don't quote me on that.
Okay. But, but it was consistent.
It was consistently.
So at what point did it like did it ever flip? Because I know you're at 500,000 now. Did it just start like growing exponentially at some point, or was it consistently going up?
So it was actually the opposite, because I grew so fast.
Okay.
I started my YouTube channel, I think like in January of like 2019, I think. And then a month later, I hit the 1 million views on the first video. By April, by my birthday, I literally hit 100,000 subscribers like the day before. It was like so close to being on my birthday. So that just shows you how fast my channel grew. And of course, like seeing that in the very beginning, once you start seeing that like slight decrease, you're like, what's going on? But it's just because I grew so fast. But after that, it was pretty consistently. for those, next 2-3 years. Now, the last couple years, first off, I haven't uploaded a video in like 12 months now. It's been a year, which we finally charged the camera back up. So
okay.
we're going to be posting soon.
That's what's up.
But
wipe the dust off the camera.
Yeah, exactly. We had to blow on it and everything. But the biggest reason for that is because, vending, it's just, it takes up a lot of time. And I've had people,
not to cut you off, you see that a lot on YouTube. Like people focus on YouTube so much and then the business takes over, they take a break and they come back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because, a lot of people have told me, why don't you just, post videos? Like you can make more money from the videos than from vending. And it's true. I was making more money from YouTube than my vending business at the time, but vending is something I'm planning on doing forever. YouTube, it could be the last 5-6 years that I was filming and, it was fun. Or, now that we're going to start posting again, I could do it for another 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But it's not something that nobody makes videos forever. With vending, it's something that I can truly say, you know what, I'm going to be like 50 years old and, have a big warehouse, have my family working with me, run a big vending company. Unless somebody slides me a check, I'll eat again.
Yeah. It's going to happen, bro, for sure. Okay, one of the last things I want to hit on before we get out of here is you mentioned the repairs. For the people that are just starting off, do you recommend they hire somebody? Do you recommend they learn how to repair the machine? And then how did you guys learn? I mean, over the course of time, you guys learn, but how do you know? Does the app tell you when they're broken?
There's some stuff that it can tell you. Okay. So, for example, like we have alerts to where, so believe it or not, it can even tell us the temperature of the drink machines. So we know whether they're cold or not. So we can set alerts to where we're like, if it goes above 40 degrees, send us a notification. That way we know if a machine's not cooling or something. But if it's not taking bills, usually locations call us. So they'll call us, they'll say, hey, the machine took my money. It did this, it did that. And it's usually like really easy fixes. So to answer your question, I would recommend people that want to get into vending to learn how to fix the machines yourself. One, that's going to save you a ton of money. Second, everything's, it's pretty simple. It's plug and play, really. Like you're not going to plug something in the wrong place. It's not going to blow up. Now, also to be fair, I have hired a lot of technicians in the past before because that's also how I learned, I had issues. Something I didn't know, I had somebody come, fix it, and just learn right there and then for next time.
Okay. I like that. Two more questions. First one, top 3 snacks to put in the vending machine, or 3 snacks that you say put in the vending machine.
So number 1, it's going to be peanut M&Ms.
Okay.
So that's like literally my number 1 selling snack. I pulled the report of the top selling items, and that's like the number 1 for snacks. Next up, what I put in every machine is Classic Lay's and Cool Ranch Doritos. Those are the classics.
Classic,
like you can't beat classics. I know you asked me earlier about whether we experiment with different products, and nothing sells better than what people know.
That's big. Okay. Last question before we get out of here, and thank you for your time, man.
Yeah,
thank you for your fiance pulling up and giving us a piece of your time. Who is one person that you feel needs to be on the Latin Wealth podcast? The only rule is you have to know this person.
It can be anybody.
It can be anybody, any industry.
Anybody? Oh, man, you put me on the spot. I think, I don't want to give you, so I have a lot of vending. I don't have too many friends, but I have a lot of vending friends. But of course, I don't want to give you somebody else that does the same thing. I know.
I'll let you think about it, and you just let me know afterwards.
Sounds good.
You feel me? Okay, we'll do that. But in the meantime, let the people know where they can find you, reach out to you, YouTube channel. You can plug all that. And
yeah, so you guys can find me on Instagram, YouTube at Jaime Ibanez with 2 Z's on Instagram. YouTube, Jaime Ibanez, you can probably just search for vending machine and hopefully I still come up. But yeah, I'm on there.
Cool. That's what's up. And you guys can find us at Latin Wealth on all different platforms. Share this with somebody else that needs to hear this information, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace out.